All right, let's get right into it. This is Josh Schoenly. I've got Chay McGee out in Salt Lake City, Utah. Chay calls me late Friday night. Now, it was late my time, but not his time, and it wasn't that late. But I get a call from Chay. When I see the phone ringing from Chay, I do my best to answer it. And Chay says, he just drops on me, "Hey, I got $5,000. What should I do with it?" Or something to those effects. And
Pretty
I said,
much.
before I just say whatever's on the top of my head, let me think about it, and I'll get you my thoughts tomorrow morning. So I sent him a loom yesterday morning with my thoughts of to me, if I were him, what I would use that $5,000, how I would invest that $5,000 to multiply it into more clients and opportunities. And I thought it would be a great thought exercise and little info session for Chay and I to hop on. I'll share what I shared, and then Chay can ask questions, get clarity for himself and anyone else who might be interested as well. Now, you may be watching this and thinking, I don't have $5,000. What should I do? And if that's the case, drop a comment or shoot me a DM or reach out to me, because I've got lots of free strategies that you can implement if you have more time than money. But this is if maybe you've had a great summer and you want to reallocate some of the commissions that you've earned into growing your business. So big picture wise, my immediate thought was, what or how can I use this to grow what, in my opinion and experience in this business for a while, is the most valuable asset we have, which is our database. Okay. Now, you may say that marketing assets might be more valuable, et cetera. But let's face it, people that know and trust you, that are willing to do business with you, have done business with you, can refer you business and might do business with you again. Right. And I just know for me right now, over the last 3, 4, 5, 6 months, the two paid strategies that have worked the very best for me are as follows, which is what I had shared with Chay yesterday morning. I'm going to share my screen. Number one is paying for motivated seller leads. So there are companies out there that you can pay per lead for motivated sellers, sellers that have raised their hand, filled out a long form submission of some kind, whether it's from pay-per-click ads or other paid media, things of that nature, that are genuinely want, and even more importantly, need to sell. Because let's face it, those are the type of listings that you should be working with now. People that need to sell, not people that maybe would like to sell, people that think it's still 2022, where it doesn't matter what the condition is and what you price it, you're going to get multiple offers. You need people that need to sell. And I've been investing in a number of these platforms since April, I think, somewhere around there, somewhere in the spring, and I continue to have good results. I've already listed and sold a number of these leads, and I'm growing my database with more that they are interested, they are motivated. The timing just hasn't quite matched yet. So that was my first option for Chay to consider. And the second option, and this is tried and true for me, is Facebook and Instagram lead form ads. And I'll share the exact ads that I'm running right now, and I'll give some variations. And so what I said to Chay was, these are my two recommendations, however you want to slice that up. If you want to take half and split it that way, if you want to do 80-20, right? You want to take $4,000 and buy motivated seller leads, or 1,000. And honestly, Chay doesn't have to listen to anything I say, quite honestly, but that's what I would do if I were him, and how I would approach that. And the big picture, if you're watching, is the answer should be, is this growing my pipeline or not? So that's the big lens to look through, right? Am I going to directly be able to grow my pipeline with this? And the other lens that I look through is, I want quick wins. I don't want to invest in stuff that I have to be incredibly patient for. I want to know that if I'm generating 100 of these leads on Facebook and Instagram, certainly not all 100 are ready, willing, and able. But if I get a batch of 100, there's 3 to 5 in there that if I do my job, they're ready. And that's already happening. Like, I already have multiple in here where I've either had an appointment with them, I'm getting them set up with search alerts or something like that, which is, Chay was actually sending some properties over to a commercial client right before this. And these motivated seller leads, when they come in and I call them, they answer and we have a conversation, and they're They're motivated by some form or fashion, and I can get in front of them. I'm getting appointments with a very high percentage of them. So Shay, I talked a lot there. From what I sent you, what questions do you have either for yourself or that others may be wondering or thinking who are in the same dilemma, let's say, that you are, or have the same thought process that you're at?
Fair. I looked at your video and I like both ideas. I wanted to explore them. Where I was is I've had a pretty good spring and summer so far, and I'm looking to expand, and I've got more expendable money than I've got more expendable time at this point in time. So I'm just trying to expand because I am busy, but there's no time to build your business than when you have momentum behind it and grow with what you've got to make sure that you finish a year really strong and just keep on that momentum. So that's where I was thinking. And I was looking into, I won't mention the name, but there was a marketing firm that actually worked on for sale by owners and expireds, which I also do, but they did that on my behalf and they offered 10 closings for 5 grand, and it sounded like a good deal, but then there was a little bit of sketch business, and looked at the reviews and they were terrible and no one could get their money back. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not throwing $5,000 out the window. So I figured I've already got this $5,000 allocated for marketing, for growing and expanding. What should I do with that? And I was like, you know what? I'll pick Josh's brain and see what he thinks, because you are by far more in depth and you do more work with the marketing as opposed to me. I'm a little bit more old school with calling and things like that. So there's a million places you can throw your money at marketing and lead generation. And over my career, I've never, no matter how much I marketed, had less than 94% of my business be past clients, sphere of influence, or referrals. So I don't want to just throw it out. So I figured I would touch base with you and say, all right, well, I've got this 5,000 set aside for this. What would make sense to do that to grow and expand without just throwing it out the window and crossing my fingers and hoping it works out?
So there's a lot in there to unpack, in my opinion. The FSBO expired, that part of it. If someone is watching or listening to this and they fit the criteria that I mentioned at the beginning, that you have more time than money, that those two audiences are people that you should be investing your time into. You can find them for free and you can reach out for free. And if you're making a compelling offer, you're going to have a conversation with them on some form and fashion. Now, you got to be pretty skilled and you need a lot of practice, but it's easy to get those reps because there are more for sale by owners coming online. At least in my market, I'm seeing more and more of them, and there are more expired listings happening each and every month because our inventory is rising, and we have two things. We have sellers that haven't come into the reality of where the market is currently, and we have a lot of our competitors that are not very skilled and haven't done their job in explaining to the sellers what is happening and creating a better understanding for them as to whether or not this may be the right time to sell. So those are great audiences, no doubt.
Without a doubt.
But
And that's where you really should, if you have more time than money, like you said, that's exactly where you should start for a number of reasons. One, they're motivated to sell, they want to get it done, and it just sharpens your skills. If you
yeah,
want to be able to really sharpen your skills and make money in any market, this is the proving ground where you need to put it in, show your value, be service first, and get that done. With this one, I'm already doing that myself. So it didn't really pay for someone to do that
yep,
and compete, pay for someone to compete against me with my money against my own efforts.
yeah.
So it's a great market. I just didn't want to pay someone to compete against me when I'm making those phone calls myself anyway.
Yep. So in our 5 weeks to 5 listings challenge, we're doing a summer challenge, planning to do it each season, summer, fall, winter, spring. We're focusing, at least in the first 2 weeks, on FSBO and expireds for that very reason. I
Great.
needed to have an audience of people that anyone joining the challenge, we could get conversations and appointments. And that's exactly what happened. Our first week, we were focused solely on for sale by owners. And while we were live on the day one of the Zoom, we set nearly 30 appointments right there live with the challenge participants. And not like, I'm talking like a small audience. There was 18 people or 20 people on with us live. And we've got a process and a flow for that. Again, if you'd like that information, comment below or reach out to me. I'll give you our FSBO script and process. I'll give you the expired scripting and process that's working right now, not some tired old strategy. It's working right now. And for those of you that don't like the phone, you can get these appointments through texting. Now, that is using the phone. You're going to have, if you're not afraid of the phone, certainly picking up the phone isn't going to hurt things, but you don't have to do anything other than text these folks to get appointments if you follow that process. Okay, now that we have more context on that, from what I sent, Shay, what dots might we connect? And I'm going to connect one that you didn't even ask for just because I think it's valuable for those out there. If you're thinking about option one here, let me say transparently that I'd be happy to share this document with you. And there are affiliate links in here. So if you go and sign up through the links in here, I may get some credits with them, or they may even send me an affiliate check. That said, I'm only recommending what I'm using. That's number one. Number two, if you sign up through those, I will also hook you up. And you don't have to sign up for all of them by any stretch, but I'll also hook you up with my follow-up process, which I don't think I mentioned, Shay, in my Loom.
No.
But I've got a smart campaign in KV Core, or I guess now Bold Trail. If you're using that, you can literally just copy it over. You have to edit it a little bit, but you don't have to start from scratch. The smart campaign is right here, right? So I don't even know how many touches this is, but it's like 17, 18 touches. I've got a direct mail campaign that I'm sending to all of the leads as well, unless I've met with them, got the business from them. Obviously, if you have a conversation, if you set an appointment, stuff like that, you pull them out of the automation. But a critical component of this is picking up the phone and calling. As close to when those leads, calling them with a very simple script that we can even get into here, is what will get you the best results. Okay. And the smart campaign and the direct mail is to catch the ones that for whatever reason you couldn't connect with up front, or somehow you dropped the ball, or whatever. You were busy at that time, whatever the case may be. It's like insurance against losing those other opportunities. So anything related with this part of what I recommended, Shay, that might be helpful for you or for us.
See, I think this is fantastic. And it sounds like the difference is, as an agent, there's a million people calling you, texting you, emailing you, trying to sell you stuff. Everybody's got a magic bullet. Most of it's crap, but it's trying to sift through what will actually help you scale and use that money to offset your time and free you up to keep in your most money making activities, which is what I'm ultimately looking for, to offset as much as I can so I can focus on getting appointments, closing appointments, writing contracts, and everything else that leads into that. I want to offset as much as possible. So I'm very intrigued in both. It's just, you've had success in this already. So I am very open to this because everybody's got something they poured tens, thousands, hundreds of thousands into. I'm really open to looking at this. And then, of course, I do want to touch on the Facebook marketing or marketplace, because I know you've had great luck there, and just work smarter than harder.
Yeah. On the Facebook ad side, whether it's Shay or anyone else out there, we can and will actually build all of this out for you for free if you're part of our EXP organization. We can do it for a fee if you're not. In other words, we have to charge a setup fee if you're not part of our organization, but we can do it for free if you're over here, because this is one of my favorite activities is looking at the EXP app every morning to see who in my organization just sold another house. And so that's very transparently, that's why we do this kind of stuff for free for people in our organization, because I actually earn revenue when people like Shay, who I just saw, Shay just closed. Now, Shay closes a lot of transactions, so I'm just barely giving him enough props, but I saw that he closed another property on the 14th, 9162 South Pebble Glen, and another one on Friday. There we go. But this ad is working incredibly well for me right now. So the Mechanicsburg is the area that, like, if I had a magic wand and all of my business came from one city, and that's not reality because I live in a rural area, but if I did, it would be Mechanicsburg. So that's where I'm starting. And I'm offering a list of homes under 450,000, which is 450 is higher than our average. but it's where transactions are still trading, right? We're still seeing a lot of activity there. And this offer is relevant for people downsizing in my market and for first-time buyers and for investors. So it's a big catch net, or it's an offer that has relevance to a big pool of folks. So for me, I just wanted, what can I put out that's going to get me a relatively low cost of lead and create as many conversation opportunities as possible? And what I'm finding, because we have a complete process that we run with every single lead, more than 50% of people opting in already own a home. So we treat them like motivated sellers also. We assume if they're looking at houses and they own a home, that they probably are going to need to sell that home to downsize or right size or whatever the case may be, or maybe invest into a property. So for those of you that are DIYers, some things here, you can take and R&D this copy here. This image is killing it for me. This is a grid image of the search results on Bold Trail. That's all it is. Literally, I made the results and I screenshot it, and the click-through rate on this image is incredibly high. Another variation of ad that I'm running is a scrolling video that is just me scrolling through the listings on my phone. It's literally just me recording my phone, scrolling through the listings, and that also will stop the scroll and get people opting in. So Shay, we'd be more than happy to set one of these up for you. And what we're finding is, if we go, depending on the area, city homes, blank city homes. I've also run this where I've done the entire county for me. Now, my county is not super populated. When we target our whole county, it's like 150 to 200,000 people on Facebook and Instagram. But there's lots of ways to slice and dice this. It's just a matter of finding the sweet spot of what type of clientele and offering are you looking to put out there, and who do you want to build your pipeline around. But you can take the principles or the pieces or the formula within that and apply it in many different ways. So follow-up questions on that, Shay, if any.
I love this. The only thing that I would change is my average home price is a little bit higher.
Sure,
But
absolutely.
with that, that's going to be the same for any area. You've got to go
Yep.
with what your price point is and go average a little bit up. For me, I would probably run this same ad at either 550 or 600.
Yep.
And go from that. But I think this is a really strong way to go at this. With this, how often do you send this? Do you go back and forth? Do you split test it? How does that work? Because what works one week in an ad doesn't perform next week. How are you working with that? And what
Yeah, so
success?
that's a great follow-up question. I think you want to have a few varieties or variations of the ad, because this is interruption style marketing, and you're putting the ad in front of the same bucket of people over time. It's not the same as Google pay-per-click, which is search or intent based, where who is searching and being shown your ad today is not the same person as tomorrow, as the next day, as the next day. It's why I showed two variations of the ad, one a video and one a grid. Another great image to use is a map. So basically this grid, but it's got pins that are a map. And I can pull up an example here as well, just to give folks a visual of what I'm describing. So this is a map style ad. I guess I can just, there you go. So you can see pins on a map. Now, the offer I'm making in this ad is a little bit different. I'm testing something to generate these same motivated sellers that I'm paying companies for. I'm testing ads to generate them myself. And I'm not talking about that in this session because it's still a test and the cost per lead is pretty high, and I'm trying to dial that in, but I have lots of proof of concept of the first ad. So number one is having a variety. I would say having 4 variations of the same ad, and literally the ad copy can be the same or very similar as long as the images are different.
Catches
You
the
can see, you can,
interest differently.
yeah. And then it's a matter of just checking in on the ads on a weekly or even bi-weekly basis to see if how the cost per lead is, if it's fluctuating, and if you need to pause one ad and then run another one. So when I launched this particular campaign a couple of weeks ago, this one's been running for a little more than a month, and out of the gate, my cost per lead was in the threes. It's climbed a little bit, and that's why I created a new variation with the video image. So the grid style performed really well, and it's still performing well, but I launched then another variation, the video image style, and when necessary, I'll add or create another variation of that as well. You can play with the copy, meaning the actual words of the as well. And if you're not sure what to do with that, use ChatGPT or something like that. Any of them will give you some variations that are have a high likelihood of working. And the other thing I'll mention here just to think about, and I don't want to give you too much to think about, you, Shay, or anyone, but I'm on ad set. I'm not layering in a niche property of any kind on these, but this could be Mechanicsburg new construction homes under 500. It could be Salt Lake City single story homes under 550. So I think the key points are, or if you're looking for like a formula, it's the area, the home type, and the price range. Area, home type, price range. And if at least you have two out of the three, I think you always have to have the area. And then you can either have the home type or the price range. I think better is all three, depending on what you're looking to do and what clientele you're really looking to work with. In this case, I wanted mine to be the bigger bucket or the biggest bucket possible. And again, I'm not in a very densely populated area. So I just went with Mechanicsburg homes under 450. And I've got homes, townhomes, and condos on the list for me.
So Josh, I love that. And you hit on something that I really want to take advantage of. I would like to try and do this and do three. You've got two. I'd like to add that third, that new construction one.
Yeah.
Because in my market, Eagle Mountain has had more new home permits in 2024 than any other city. And it's continuing that Eagle Mountain is just blowing up. So while we're technically rural, Eagle Mountain itself is up to, I think, 65,000 people. So it's not going to be considered that for very much longer.
And when we run these ads, for those of you that don't know, you have to run a radius. So you can't target just Eagle Mountain. Now, you can target an entire county. So you can't target just a city. Right. You can target a county. If you're going after a specific city, Eagle Mountain in this case, we're going to capture a 15-mile radius. But what we're going to say and make very clear in the ad is this is for people who want to buy a new construction home in Eagle Mountain under this amount. And that doesn't mean it's only relevant to people that already live in Eagle Mountain. It's also relevant to people that live in that radius that are thinking about buying a new home in Eagle Mountain, because there's probably the school district is probably good, right? There's probably it probably has a lot going for it. And it stands to reason that people outside of the direct city there are thinking about, considering, or would have reason to look there. And I forget what the statistic is, but there's some statistic out there that says blank percent of people move within a 5-mile radius of where they already are. We got a little bit bigger radius than maybe what the stats say. But the other thing with this is the Facebook algorithm is really good. And they have all this, like it or not, they have a ton of data on our activities and what we're interested in, etc. And so those ads are going to be put in front of people that are more likely to be interested based upon what you're saying, the words you're saying, the things that you're mentioning in the ad. And if you notice, and I saw you nodding along there, Shay, you got a little excited. If you notice, I even have a couple of
track, but you'd be amazed at the data that they have on you, everybody else. We're not going to go down that hole, but you would be amazed. But having said that, what you can utilize them having this information for to make it remarkably relevant to your ideal client avatar only takes you figuring out how to identify and drill that down to them. But it is a remarkably powerful tool if you learn to utilize it.
Yeah. And the simple answer to that, the most logical, easy answer to that is something that copywriters call dog whistle copy. So you craft the words that you have in your ad to call out to the people that you want that would be most interested in what you're offering. right? So when I run an ad for homeowners in a certain area, I will say, attention, Mechanicsburg homeowners. And by doing that, not only are you signaling to the person reading it and making it their, if it is relevant to them, they're going to pay attention, but you're also telling Facebook, this is who I would like you to put my ad in front of.
Right.
And one other thing I'll note, which I don't know if this is making a huge deal or huge difference or not, but I am including a couple of hashtags in my ad, and the hashtags are Mechanicsburg, PA, so that's the area, and then homes for sale. So hashtag Mechanicsburg, PA, and hashtag homes for sale. Again, I don't know if that's making a huge difference, but it doesn't cost me anything to have those hashtags in there. Might as well. It's just another signal to the algorithm or to Meta who this is relevant for. All right, Shay, anything else before we wrap up?
The only other thing that is very important is I'm assuming you already have a follow-up campaign designed. So as soon as it drops in through Facebook with the pixel, it immediately jumps off a follow-up campaign to deliver for them, increase interest, and set you up so you don't have to answer the phone. You have more than 2 minutes to answer every time your phone buzzes.
So we
Is
have a
that
smart
something you
campaign.
already have built out?
Yep, we have a smart campaign. That is a combination of text and emails and task notifications, because we do want to, when we have allocated time, we do want to reach out to these folks. They're not as time sensitive as the motivated seller leads. In other words, you don't have to drop everything you're doing when someone opts in for your list of Eagle Mountain new construction homes. But during your time block, your daily time block, it does make sense to reach out to them. Okay. In the meantime, we've got a series of emails, texts that go out. We make sure that they are added to a search alert. We make sure to get them added to a market report for Eagle Mountain so they can start to learn what's going on in Eagle Mountain. And we even use Zapier to build a mailing list automatically in thanks for the ones that already own a home. So you can do this or not, but I'm choosing to mail those people because I want them to see me in as many different places as possible so that there's like no doubt that I'm going to be their solution provider, service provider of choice. The time is right. And so that's all built out on Bold Trail, but you can build out or replicate something similar regardless of what you're using, whether you're using Lofty or at EXP, we have a new one, Close, I think, something like that. I haven't even looked at that one. Or you're using Follow Up Boss, or you're using Wise Agent. They're making a little bit of a resurgence. Whatever you're using, you can build out something similar to make sure that it's not reliant upon you and you alone. Okay. There's a happy medium between relying 100% on automation and the manual work it requires to actually have success. We want to use and leverage automation and technology, but if you're relying on it 100%, you're missing out on a lot of the opportunity that in this case, that you are investing money into to generate those opportunities.
And to your point, Josh, it's very important. AI and things like that are remarkably helpful. What I am seeing, and I'm taking absolute advantage of it, is a lot of people are getting away from the service portion of this, the people first portion of real estate.
Yeah.
And people are not, home buyers and sellers are not looking for that. They're really not.
It's still a relationship business.
It's a relationship business. So use the tools that you have, but use them to keep clients warm, so to speak, and keep them engaged until you can speak with them, show them your value proposition and being service forward. Don't rely too heavily on tech in any way, especially AI. I'm seeing it a lot right now. People are just wholeheartedly living on AI, and you can tell if nothing else, the listing remarks, you can tell they're AI.
Yeah.
With the way they place that exact emoji on the first line and everything. Don't be lazy. Have it help you, have it be a muse, have it be your partner, but you have to be at the helm of the ship.
Yeah.
So again, not to get too far off, but guys, service related business, service first. And if you're gonna last here, you're gonna need to keep that in mind.
Yeah, use it as an assistant, but it's not to replace you, because you don't want it to replace you. This is a business that it's still a huge transaction. It's a huge financial investment, the biggest that most make in their
Ever.
lives. And so it can help you, but we don't want it to replace us. And it won't. Prop tech or fintech has been trying to replace us for years and years, and they can't, because it's a relationship business, because it's such a emotional decision, a financial decision, et cetera. And people want that personal relationship and the confidence in proceeding. And so, great point to end on. For those that are checking this out, any of the resources that I showed or mentioned, I'm happy to share them. Drop a comment. They may even be in the description with this video. And if you want to have a strategy call with Shay or I, you can find us pretty easily on all the socials. Just reach out. We'd be happy to chat and explore how we can help you grow your business. And whether it's free strategies that we touched on, or the topic of today is, I've got this money allocated to grow my business in some way, shape, or form. What should I do with that? We'd be happy to have those conversations. Shay, thanks for hopping on. Very impromptu.
I appreciate everything and your help always. We make a great team, and I appreciate everything that you bring.
Amen, brother. I appreciate you. And we'll chat offline on connecting some of the dots here for you. But we hope everybody got some value out of this, and we'd love to chat if interested.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Shay.